2, 1. Wait, what do you want me to stand? Right here and just...
Yeah,
just
probably behind, yeah.
Just don't make me laugh.
Okay. Well, good.
What's going on, guys? This is Devon Withers here, and today I'm alongside Optic, an up-and-coming artist out of Rochester, New York. Optic, it's good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
So before we talk about what you're getting into right now and what's planned for the future, how about we talk about yourself as an artist first and foremost? So can you tell me maybe what kind of age you were at before you started writing?
I started writing around 12 or 13. I started rapping with my friend Alec. We started making different type of music. I was probably at the end of middle school, beginning of high school at that point. And that's pretty much where it all started right there.
Sure, so you're talking a lot about, writing lyrics, but you weren't too serious about it back then. How much longer did it take you to start performing, maybe in front of family and friends?
Honestly, I didn't let really any of them know until I was 15 or 16 that I liked writing music or doing music. It took a lot for me socially to even talk to people, so performing in front of people took a little longer.
Sure. So, there's obviously a lot of influences today, especially in the music industry. Can you maybe talk about some of the role models that you have in the music industry, as well as some of the role models you have outside of the music industry?
Yeah, when I was younger, I listened to a lot of I listened to Heartache, Young Logic. These days, a lot of NF, a lot of Token, Whit Lowry. And outside of music, a lot of my role models, family, as in my father, my mom, my brothers, my brother, my sisters. Just family and the friends I surround myself with, really.
Sure. So it seems like when you're talking a lot about the artists that you mentioned before, Childish Gambino, Young Logic, guys like that, they're basically centralized around lyrics, not how fast you can rap and not the beat that's playing behind the lyrics. What made you decide to want to stand out rather than just fit in with everyone else and, rap at a super fast pace or just have the best beat in the industry?
For me, I've never done music for publicity or for fame or anything like that. I honestly started writing music because it was an escape for me, a way to allow myself to write things that I couldn't really say out loud. So it was a lot easier for me to write lyrics that mean something to me than to care about the beat as much as I care about my lyrics.
Sure. So, getting into your personal life more, it seems like even dating back years that you sort of have a darker mentality to your music, sort of like an NF kind of vibe to it. So what made you want to go back to a darker mindset rather than just, rap about what other artists are rapping about nowadays?
Like I said, I like to stay to what I'm true to. If I rap about things that I'm not necessarily doing, then it almost feels like to me that I'm a poser. I'm not on the streets. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not picking up chicks every day. That's just not who I am. And writing lyrics that are close to me it's just who I am.
Sort of moving on to these features that you had through the Isolation album. You had Brianna Marin, you had GW, you had Alex Brinkley. How has marketing and exposure for yourself changed maybe within the last 6 to 12 months?
To be honest, it's helped tremendously. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of marketing your music and really believing in your music enough to market it. There was an NF line that I loved where he says, people think that I made it because I marketed, but you have to have more than marketing to blow up. Your music also has to be good.
Sure.
And whether I'm using Brianna Marin, Alex Brinkley, their amazing voices, or a local artist like GW, it always brings people to listen to your music, and you want to use real talent. A lot of people will use lesser talent because that person will pay them, but then that person doesn't bring you necessarily new fans or new engagement either.
Sure. So we talked a little bit about exposure, we talked a little bit about marketing. You actually had a big step in your career where the song Change had over 94,000 streams on it. How has the overwhelming support for you made you feel deep down?
I actually found that out the other day, and my buddy was actually one who told me. And I remember looking at it, and it's honestly still crazy to me. Like 94,000 streams, and I can't even imagine 94,000 different people listening to that. Because there was at one point where I was doing a concert and there was 5 people there. I released a song and there's 5 people liking it, 5 views, so 94,000 streams is crazy.
Right, so you have a dozen songs on this Isolation album. Is there one in particular that stands out to you that you haven't mentioned before?
I mean, if I have to name a song that really means the most to me, I would have to say Heartache. I mean, I put so much just emotion and lyrics in. I took a lot of time writing that song. The only song that really talks about relationships or love or anything like that, and I'd definitely say that's my favorite out of all of them.
Sure, and we were talking a little bit about Heartache off the camera. It's, you know, blowing up on Facebook, so you're getting people who are tagging people that you've never even heard of in your whole entire life. You know, do you see yourself expanding through the next couple of months, and maybe what can come next for you?
Yeah, the last 72 hours have just been crazy. A lot of new people liking my Optic page now. A lot of people following, management people contacting me. It's just, the exposure is awesome. I think it expands so much because people can relate so much as well.
Sure. So let's talk a little about your unreleased music, right? So at the January 12th concert at the Montage Hall here in Rochester, you performed the song Blame for the first time. Lead me up to the few hours leading up to that concert, right? Because there was something that happened.
Yeah, so leading up to it, I was supposed to perform another song with another artist and a singer, and he wasn't able to make it in time. And Blame was actually something that I kept off the album because I really wanted it to be its own music video off the album, something that I could release afterwards because it was one of my favorite songs. And 2 hours up to, I was rehearsing that song I was supposed to do with the singer, and he couldn't make it, and I'm panicking. I'm like, what song do? I have to know the lyrics, all that. And I looked at Blame, and I just felt like that was going to be the one that was going to hit the crowd the most, and was going to be like, wow, I really wish that he would release that song right now.
Sure. So, you know, you talked a little bit about, before you just mentioned it, talking about a music video for Blame. Is that going to be the next step in your career, or are you working towards releasing other songs?
No, Blame's definitely the next step. I would say that music video is probably the next step here, and then after that, I mean, it's all up from there.
Sure. You know, moving into this Isolation album, first of all, I love it. I know a lot of other people love it. You know, in particular, the From Me to You song, it's about yourself, it's about your son Jackson, his presence, how he's influenced you. But there's also people, you know, that don't have children of their own that still love this song. Why do you think it's created so much success?
You know, I think a lot of the songs that do well for me are very personal, and I think a lot of people can relate. And people without children, even it's almost that imagery of when they have children, that's the way they want to picture, or even especially a father, that's the way they want their father to look at their child as well.
Sure. So, like I said before, your son, the mother of your child, they're often mentioned in multiple songs. You know, ISO, From Me to You, Used to Be. How has their presence specifically influenced the way that you create music?
Oh, it's funny. 2 years ago, I wasn't even making music, and that's when I met my baby mom. We had a child, and it wasn't until after we split that I started doing music again. And when I came back from that whole situation, I had so much to write about because those 2 years of my life, I went through so much pain, happiness, all sorts of things, and I think that honestly, those two things, those two people, are really what made me make that whole Isolation album.
Sure. And we sort of talked about your concert at the Montage Hall. You said it was a big success. Blame was, you know, absolutely perfect. Is there a plan for you to do another concert in the near future? Or are you sort of holding off on that and staying more picky until you find the right opportunity?
It's a little bit of both. I think you gotta be really picky about the artist, especially if you're opening up for an artist. You gotta be really picky about the artist you open up for, because you don't want to open up for an artist that's music is a lot different than yours, because then that crowd that they bring isn't gonna really vibe with the type of music that you make. I mean, I've talked to venues out in Long Island, talked to venues here. You know, I think it's just about the right opportunity, and when somebody brings me that, I think I will take it.
Sure, and at that concert you were selling merchandise, right? So you were selling these long sleeve t-shirts, you were selling hoodies. You know, how can people who weren't at the concert get in touch with you, maybe about purchasing one in the near future?
For right now, you can contact my Optic page, but there will be an online store coming, and a lot more designs coming as well.
Sure, so let's hop into a few fan questions. You did post on Instagram asking for fans to submit questions. So we do have 5 for you. The first one comes from Donna. She wants to know what one life-changing moment occurred in your life that influenced your music.
I mean, I don't think there's anything that can influence you more than having a child.
Sure.
When I had Jackson, I feel like a lot of what I do for music is for him. So, I mean, that's probably the easiest question I'll probably answer.
Okay, so dating back even earlier, right at the beginning of time, Allie wants to know what decision got you into music in the first place.
I mean, simply put, depression. I mean, I had to go through a lot, and I had to figure out a way to express those feelings, and writing down the feelings is what got me to really release them.
Okay. So Mikey wants to know what your favorite part of doing music is, but at the same time he wants to know what your least favorite part about producing music is as well.
Favorite part of doing music is when fans come to me and they talk about how much they relate to it. Like, it's just awesome. Or the fact that when people are like, man, your music's really helping me out right now, and it's getting me through tough times. Least favorite part, I would say, is the fact that it has to be public. I mean, it sounds weird, but like the fact that like you have to put it out there for people that you already know aren't gonna really vibe with it because they don't like that kind of music, and then they want to put out negative comments. I mean, I think that's the least favorite part for any artist is that.
Okay. So Nicole wants to know, from the January 12th concert, was there a song that was particularly hard for you to perform?
I think Heartache was definitely the hardest one to perform, and it was mostly because the person that it was about was there. So it was definitely an emotional performance, and I'm just glad that I got through all of it without tearing down or anything like that.
Sure. So last but not least, the most important question of the day, Dylan wants to know what your favorite food is.
I'm gonna go pizza.
Pizza, not a bad choice. So, like I said, that's all the time we got for today. Thank you for joining me once again, Devon Withers, alongside here Optic. Make sure you check him out in the near future.
Bye.
One to blame, but maybe I'm the one to blame. I guess I'm wrong for trusting you, but maybe I'm the one to blame. It's crazy to see how life can get you. The older we get, the less people fit inside your picture. We used to scream cause we were happy, but these days we whisper. And the ones we love the most seems like we lose them quicker. And I don't want you to worry, so I tell you that I'm fine. When you're laughing, I'm smiling. And I want you to be happy and be happy looking at me. You don't need to know I'm suffering in silence. I felt so much, I'm feeling nothing. When you looking at me, I swear you ain't seeing nothing. Feels like I'm standing still just to see my mind keeps running. Being happy was being something I really wasn't. Can't blame you if you leave. Like I'm standing in the way, but I still have room to see. Like I'm drowning in my thoughts, but I still have air to breathe. If I'm getting what I want, is it really what I need? I know I feel my time has come soon. In the end, we all die the same. I guess I'm wrong for trusting you, but maybe I'm the one to blame. I feel the end is coming